Okay, welcome back and welcome to the third video in my part one series, part one of my series of gameplay videos of War in the Pacific Admiral's Edition. When I left you last time, the land combat phase was just starting, and there's honestly not much to talk about here, so there are different types of attacks. There's three of them. There's bombardment attack, which is generally for sort of long sieges of an enemy unit. It kind of runs down their supplies. It runs down yours as well. But if you have a secure supply line and they don't, then you'll win eventually. Losses are really minor. Well, I guess relatively minor here. 30 on each side, and this is out of a force of tens or even hundreds of thousands of troops. The other two are deliberate and shock, and deliberate's like kind of a full-out attack, and shock is an attack that's kind of like deliberate. It's full out, but it's riskier. So if you have an advantage, it's good to use shock. But if it's about an even fight, you have a chance of taking pretty severe losses. So I tend to stick with deliberate unless I'm kind of chasing a weakened enemy. Here you can see more bombardment attacks. Up in the top, this is the Japanese unit, and on the bottom, well, it just went away, but on the bottom was the Allied units that were in that hex. And, of course, the combat reports once again show you the attacking force, things like troops, guns, and vehicles, and the assault value. And the real important one is the assault value, I found in the past, because a land unit with, or a set of land units with a greater assault value obviously is stronger than one with a lower assault value. And then there are other factors that play into an attack that we'll be talking about in a bit. Here's more bombardment attacks. We've seen this already, so I'll just skip past some of it. And also, kind of like in earlier parts of a turn, land combat resolves in two phases. The Japanese make all their attacks, and then the Allies make all their attacks. So now you're seeing the Allies do a bombardment attack at Hong Kong, and this is actually a very heavily fortified area. So that's why I'm kind of using these siege tactics. And yeah, ridiculous assault values here. Actually, I only set one unit to bombard, so the number of troops is greatly deflated, but the assault value shows everything that's in the hex, and it has a potential to attack. So also, in addition to being kind of good siege tactic, it's also good for intelligence gathering and sort of cheap recon. It might be a little gamey, that some people say, where it's just sort of a tool of the game, but I don't know. More bombardment attacks. We don't care about these anymore. And looks like there weren't any major direct attacks this turn. After land combat, you see facilities expand. You saw like fortifications and airfields go up. If you miss it in the center of the screen, you can look down here in the bottom corner in the sort of debugging console. If you're familiar with software development, it's kind of what that is. And then just boring administrative parts take place between after land combat and before the end of the turn. So right now, oil and resources are being moved around, and I guess this is computationally expensive because it takes a while. Now you have production, supply movement. Production, I guess, is from your light and heavy industry, at least for the Allies, light and heavy industry producing supplies, and aircraft get repaired and supplied. Just basic things that aren't too interesting to talk about. Here we have ships and air units can upgrade. So after certain points, if a ship's eligible for an upgrade, or if you have enough of the next best airplane in your aircraft pool, then your units will automatically upgrade to them. And now we get to see what new toys we have. Right now, some cargo ships are arriving. Got some bomber groups that I moved in the previous turn, arriving at sort of a staging area before I move them off to a front line. And finally, just finishing things out, and the game is auto-saving. So, that's really all I have to say about um, how a turn resolves in War in the Pacific. So that's the conclusion of part 1 in my 3-part series. The next part, I'll be showing off a little bit more of the interface and how you assign orders, and also some of the complaints I have about this game's user experience. And then part 3, I think I'll run one more turn, and hopefully that'll be shorter, since if you've seen this, the part 1 series, then a lot of it should just be rehashed. I just want to show off how decisions you make when you plan a turn affect the next turn. So I'll see you all then, and have a good day.